In a world where justice often seems elusive, the International Criminal Court, or the ICC, stands as a beacon of hope. Recently, however, it has been the cause of concern for Israeli leaders. The ICC, a global tribunal with the mandate to prosecute individuals for international crimes, has been stirring up a storm in Israel. The cause? Potential arrest warrants for Israeli leaders, including Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, over actions taken in the war with Hamas. The prospect of such warrants has sent ripples of concern through the Israeli leadership. After all, these are not just pieces of paper but directives that could restrict the travel of these officials and set precedent for future cases. This is not the first time that the ICC has issued arrest warrants for notable figures. In the past, the likes of Russian President Vladimir Putin and Sudanese leader Omar al-Bashir have found themselves in the ICC's crosshairs. But what makes this situation unique is the complex relationship between the ICC, Israel, and Palestine. But what exactly has led to this point? Let's delve into the actions of the Israeli government in Gaza. In response to Hamas, the Israeli government, under Defense Minister Gallant, has taken measures that can only be described as extreme. These actions include the cutting off of food and water supply to Gaza, a move that violates not only international law, but also Israel's own military code of conduct. The implications of these measures are far-reaching. The actions are seen as a scorched earth campaign of retribution against civilians with a clear political objective, satisfying hardliners and erasing the memory of intelligence failures. This approach, it seems, is less about strategic warfare and more about playing to a domestic audience. As we examine the global response, or rather, the lack of it, we find a striking silence from the United States and Europe. This lack of pushback is alarming and raises questions about accountability for war crimes when endorsed by powerful nations. To understand the gravity of this, it's helpful to compare it to other instances of war crimes endorsed by powerful nations. Take, for instance, Donald Trump's endorsement of war crimes or Putin's invasion of Ukraine, where modern military forces openly committed war crimes. These examples show a disturbing trend where the might of a nation appears to overshadow the mandate of international law. This isn't the first time that Israel has faced allegations of widespread crimes against Palestinians. There are ongoing international criminal court probes into its actions in Gaza, a clear indication that the world is watching, albeit from the sidelines. As the dust settles, the impact of these actions becomes increasingly clear, and the world is left to wonder, where do we go from here? In the face of such adversity, one might ask, what has been the response of the international community? Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's steadfast rejection of Palestinian sovereignty in a post-war Gaza has clashed with US President Joe Biden's suggestions of creative solutions for Palestinian statehood. This divergence of views has put Israel at odds with one of its staunch allies, the United States. Meanwhile, Netanyahu is feeling the heat domestically. There are escalating demands for him to secure the release of hostages held by Hamas, intensify the war against Hamas, and yet, at the same time, navigate calls for restraint from the United States. A delicate balancing act indeed. The conflict has left a trail of devastation, with significant casualties and displacement in Gaza. The ongoing military operations have raised serious humanitarian concerns, with the international community watching closely. The situation on the ground is grim, and there is an urgent need for a resolution. The unrest is not confined to the borders of Gaza. In Israel, the conflict has sparked protests, hunger strikes, and anti-war demonstrations. The citizens are making their voices heard, expressing their desire for an end to the bloodshed. The implications of this conflict are not just local, but regional. We've seen attacks on US and Israeli targets by Iranian-backed groups, signaling a potential escalation of tensions in the Middle East. As the world grapples with the ramifications of this conflict, one thing is clear: the path to peace is fraught with challenges. But it is the hope of many that justice in some form will prevail. In the end, the question remains, what does the future hold for Israel and its leaders? As we reflect on the potential International Criminal Court arrest warrants, the actions taken by the Israeli government in Gaza come to the fore. The international response has been varied, with some nations supporting Israel, while others express concern over the alleged war crimes. The region continues to grapple with the aftermath, as tensions rise and the quest for peace becomes more complex. While the world awaits the ICC's decision, one thing is certain: the actions taken in Gaza will not be forgotten easily. As we continue to watch this unfolding story, we are reminded of the importance of justice, accountability, and the pursuit of peace. Thank you for watching our deep dive into Netanyahu's Gaza War. We hope you found this discussion insightful and thought-provoking. As we continue to unpack the complexities of the international political landscape, we invite you to join us. Subscribe to our channel for more in-depth analysis and comprehensive coverage. We appreciate your time and interest and value your engagement in these critical conversations. Until next time, stay informed and stay safe. Remember, every perspective matters when it comes to understanding our world.